PKC Knowledge Hubs are initiatives that combine research and training and knowledge mobilization. We wanted to really respect self-determination and place-based prioritization of what that hub is, what it focuses on, who's involved. And so the criteria are purposefully around shared benefit, but not directive in that a hub has to do this or has to be composed of these different elements. We do ensure Indigenous-led research and Indigenous co-led research through the criteria that the hubs are supported via. But it's really to respect that place-based and a coming together of organizations around shared priorities.
One of the greatest things about the knowledge hubs that we have is that you get to see the role that the communities and Indigenous knowledge plays. And so with each one being Indigenous-led or co-led, you start to see how the community works and operates within their methods. The communities get to have their autonomy, their sovereignty established within that work. And I think that's really powerful for institutions and the like to learn, but also to actually listen and hear for the first time. It's kind of a gratifying, liberation process in the research itself. And I think that's really fundamental to the work that we're trying to do, is to not only uplift Indigenous communities, but support them in a way that is vital for them. For instance, how do you restore, a bison herd or even caribou population, especially in a different society of modernization and the like? But how do you ground within the traditions of the communities to ensure that, access to medicines and even the ecological knowledge is there?
It's been interesting to me as a Western scientist and to see, you might think if you support very place-based local priorities, that there might not be a natural connection between those place-based priorities and federal science priorities. Those policies, federal policies, and UNDRIP, commitments to UNDRIP, and commitments to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission calls to action are part of the landscape. And so those hubs naturally intersect with those funding opportunities, those applications, those outcomes in a really interesting way without them being imposed as a criteria. It's just kind of a natural from the land, from the relations on up to a broader policy space. I think one of our measures of success is the extent to which the work we've supported becomes part of the community story.
And the impact could be simply transmission of knowledge to the next generation, right? You can't really quantify that, but we know that it has profound impact because you have that ability to share that knowledge in the community, but also for generations that follow. And I think that's something that's really important, is that success comes in a variety of ways. Many of us come into this with understanding that there's a need, but there's also the emotional need, there's also the cultural need. And you get to see that in the work within the spirit and the intent and the power that is the culture and the knowledges of the hubs.